Moving to the next and the last topic, Safdarjung Tomb. It is a very beautiful monument located in the heart of Delhi. Safdarjung Airport you would have also seen, that is also near to it. It is actually an example of late Mughal architecture because it was built in the 18th century. And we need to know about it because they ask certain questions about Mughal architecture. They might ask that what is it made of? Of course, it is made of white marble as well as red sandstone, as we can see in the image. Also, it is formed in the basis of Charbagh style of Mughal architecture, where they had water-based channel in between these four patterned layout of the garden. The Safdarjung Tomb is actually the last enclosed garden tomb in Delhi. Tradition of Humayun's tomb, it started in the 16th century. It is far less grand in scale, of course, because right now in the 18th century when this was being formed, Mughal were on a decline. It was built in the year 1753 to 1754 as the mausoleum of Safdarjung. It has pavilion of some smaller pavilions. For example, it has parts known as Moti Mahal, Badshah Pasand or Jungle Mahal, which had their own purpose. Jungle Mahal represented that it was a palace in the wild. Badshah Pasand, that means it was the king's favorite. Moti Mahal means it was a pearl palace. It is the example of the late Mughal architecture, 18th century, as we discussed. But then what is about this Safdarjung? Why do we need to know about it? Who is this person? We saw that it is a mausoleum of Safdarjung. Who is this Safdarjung? Is that a name? No. It was actually a title adopted by Mirza Mukim Abul Masoor Khan. Very difficult name. You only remember Safdarjung, but more importantly, you remember why we remember him, because he was the second Nawab of Awadh. The first Nawab of Awadh, who was Burhan ul Mulk, Mr. Sadat Khan. That was again his title. Burhan ul Mulk was his title. Sadat Khan was his name. Who set up the empire of Awadh, or actually became the first Nawab of Awadh. Nawabdari of Awadh was set up by this person in around the 1720s. After that, this person, Safdarjung, became the second Nawab of Awadh. And once he became the Nawab of Awadh under Muhammad Shah Rangila, once he died, he actually went again to Delhi. And there, when in Delhi after 1748, under the ruler of Ahmad Shah Bahadur, when Ahmad Shah Bahadur was the Mughal Emperor of India, he became the Grand Wazir of India, or the Prime Minister of Mughal India, and adopted the title called as Wazir-e Mamlae Hindustan. Hindustan ke all mamlas were under this person, Wazir-e Mamlae Hindustan. This was the name of this person. Safdarjung was his title, and he was a Nawab of Awadh. That's what we remember. But when we talk about Awadh, you also remember one very famous name known as Shuja-ud-Dowla. He is the same person who was part in the Battle of Buxar of 1764. This person, Safdarjung, was actually the father of Nawab Shuja-ud-Dowla. So he became the third Nawab of Awadh. After this, Ahmad Shah Bahadur was deposed as the king. This person, Safdarjung, he went back again to Awadh, and then he died there. But his son, Shuja-ud-Dowla, who had a lot of influence at the center, at the Delhi Sultan, at the Mughal court, he actually sought the permission from the Mughal emperor at that time and built a mausoleum for his father, Mr. Safdarjung, and that is why the name of this mausoleum or tomb is known as Safdarjung's tomb, which was constructed by Nawab Shuja-ud-Dowla during the reign of Ahmad Shah Bahadur for the person Safdarjung, who was the second Nawab of Awadh. That is all that you need to remember, apart from the fact that it was built of red sandstone as white marble and follows the typical Charbagh pattern, and also it is an example of the late architecture. So whenever the British were to say to India that Indians were in a dark stage, or 18th century was a dark age before British came, it was actually not a dark age, because we saw such remarkable types of example of architecture were still flourishing in India.